All right, we have to talk about January 6th.
J6.
Now, I'm not coming into this discussion knowing anything about what happened with you,
really?
not with January 6th. Yeah. You just mentioned that you were there?
Yeah.
All right, so tell me what...
So J6, I wanted to go there because I felt this was going to be historic. I didn't know what. Mm-hmm. This is my third time going to DC in at that point 4 months or 5 months or something, and I was like, you know what, I want to see something. I just and on the other side, because being part of Hollywood and being part of television and film, I understand how they manipulate video.
Yep.
And I'm like, one thing that's going to have there is they're going to have all these people with their own cameras.
Yeah.
So they're in my head, I was like, so they can't lie. That's what I was thinking. There's no way they could tell a story because everyone's going to have their own footage. I didn't understand the reach that they had.
You're thinking this before January 6th.
Oh, yeah. I was like, I'm going to go there. It's going to be cool. I'm going to see something, like get to record history. So we're there. I'm there with this girl at the time that I was seeing, and we were staying at the Marriott across the street from the Freedom Plaza right there. It's not that far walk away from where we stood, which is a little bit in front of the Washington Monument. We're like the street of where that starts if you're going back up the path. So we're at the street level, close to the street, right behind a couple of trees. And it was super cold. And at this point, I wasn't really there for the speech because I'm one of those, I'll intake a lot of media. So I've heard him say this stuff over and over, the numbers and him, Giuliani. So it wasn't about like, is he going to say the thing? Like I heard it all. So it was more like hanging out, taking pictures with people. They were all marching over to the Capitol, and me and old girl, I'm like, it's cold. Let's just go back to the hotel room. I'm like, okay. So go back to the hotel room, take my boots off. I'm hanging out, watching TV. I was like, let me see. And this is probably, I don't know. The path that God has put me on because of this has been ultimately great. So I have to say, I always think, let me see what the other side is saying about this. So I turn on MSNBC. And there's a reporter going, it's a dark scene or something, like being very macabre. And it's like, there's blood on the ground and the people and the cops. And I'm like, she's lying. Mind you, I have my experience of almost a whole year of Beverly Hills rallies, which is like nothing but love, peaceful. Even when Antifa came and started fights, it got pushed away. And then we went back to loving on each other again. And so, and I'll tell you the Antifa story is a whole nother thing. But so I'm like, she's lying. So I'm like, I'm going to be the crazy guy who in a news report that comes behind the camera and goes, that's what I want to do. So I put on my boots. I'm like, I'm going to go tell them, go find that camera crew. So I start heading down, and it's about a mile walk from the hotel to the Capitol. I get there is probably like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours after all the major stuff that had been played over and over on TV even happened. So as I'm walking down, people are walking back. I'm like, is it over? People leave. They're like, no, there's still people there. People are just meandering. It's not like people are like, oh, it's still happening. Like, no. So it's like, people are there. The same energy I got the time I came before. And so we get down. I get down closer to the Capitol. And as I'm walking, I just by myself, I actually bump into this one guy's like, excuse me. I'm like, oh, my bad. And I bump into him. I look up. It's MAGA Hulk. And a couple of the guys in the photo I was telling you about, they're all there. I'm like, oh, what's up? What's going on? We're like, giving each other love. Some lady recognized us from Beverly Hills. She's like, hey, can I interview you guys? We're like, okay. So MAGA Hulk and I are doing interviews. And the interview ends exactly when we're by the scaffold where the American flag was draped over. And so the interview pretty much stops when people start singing the national anthem. So we turn, take a hat off, and we're singing the national anthem. The whole place is singing the national anthem. I'm like, wow, this is awesome. So one of the guys like, hey, let's walk up the scaffold and go to the next level. Okay. So we start walking. As we get closer to the top of the stairs, the scaffold leads to like the second level of the Capitol, I believe. Yeah, you can smell remnants of what is it? Pepper spray. Oh. So you kind of smell in the air, but it's not. You can tell it had been there. Yeah. So you're kind of like, oh wow, this kind of sucks. But then I'm walking around. I see cops are standing on the side of a wall, and people are just kind of standing there. And one cop was just spraying the whole crowd, and you're like, they're just standing there. One lady stands on top of the wall, like just kind of being more annoying in front of a cop, and the cop pushes her off. And I'm like, oh wow. And I walk around. Wow. Yeah, I walk around to the other side. I'm like, all right, this is crazy over here. Let me walk to the other side. Basically, it's just see what's going on. I walked to the other side where it was pretty calm. There wasn't a bunch of people doing anything. Everyone's just kind of, again, meandering around. As I go up the steps, I run into this one guy that he ended up getting indicted the day that they raided my house. He got indicted, and I just see him. I'm like, "Oh, what's up?" And we say hi. I'm recording some, things I'm seeing. People are standing there, and I'm like, one guy was like, "Yeah, the cowards are hiding inside," and I was like, "Yeah, they're cowards," and walking around and recording, and there's a doorway. Now there were these two guys who were in all military gear with gas mask on, so I couldn't see their face. And one guy's like, "I'm following you." I was like, "All right, let's go," and mind you, again, coming from the last time I was in DC and the Beverly Hills rallies, Trump supporters were friendly. They're nice. They're cordial together. It's not like, I can't trust you, can't trust. So he's like, "I'm following you." I was like, "All right, come on, let's go, bud." Not thinking anything of it. We get to the doorway and I was like, "Hey, this is the way to go in. Let's see what's going on." Like, again, let's just see what's going on. We're kind of walking into the doorway, and it was like, imagine going to a rock concert or a football game where it's just packed and you got to kind of take slow steps together. Yeah. I get to the doorway. I get about maybe about a foot in maybe. And then the cops were saying they're kind of stopping us from going any further anymore. So we're just standing there, and I get my phone. So I was like, all right, I reach around and I'm starting to like record as much as I can get. One guy over here, and I'm like, "I heard they got Nancy Pelosi's desk or whatever. What's going on? Do you hear that?" And the guy's like, "I don't know." And then there's cops standing against the wall, just hanging out.
So at this point, do you believe that you're breaking and entering into the Capitol?
Why would I? No. No one said anything. No one's done anything. The other cops, there's cops lined up against the wall on the inside standing there. And I have the footage of all this. So the only one guy was just kind of standing there, kind of holding us off so we can't go any further. Then a guy in a riot gear comes up. He goes, "I need you guys to go back the other way now." We're, okay. Doing it. We're kind of talking a little bit here, and I'm like, "Hey, yeah, we're gonna get it done. We're being reasonable." And I was kind of joking on the film, like, "This is the most reasonable ride I've ever seen," like kind of joking, like, because that's kind of what I do. And so I turn around, I go, we're gonna get it done, man. We're gonna be reasonable. I turn around, "All right, guys, we got to go back the other way."
Yeah.
So he gives me a command, or us a command. I repeat the command back to people behind me. We shuffle back out. Now the guys who were in the mask, I go, "Hey, let's go this way." And so we basically, the door's here. We come out and we walk to this side, and there was a window that was all busted up. And I'm like, man, people were pissed. Like, I'm like, this is what happens when you lock people up for a whole year, and then like. And I said it, and I was like, and then you steal the election, like, because that's what I thought happened. I really thought we see now 17 million people just disappeared over the last recent election. I'm like, this is what happens. And I'm yelling, and then I started saying, I'm like, "Look, guys, we're not mad at you at all. I know people aren't mad at you. They're just mad at what this government's been doing to them." And there was one cop there that I did see somebody had grabbed his pepper spray or a pepper spray, and then they threw it back, and this one cop was standing around, and he got hit in the head. It was like, it wasn't, anything too hard in a way where he knocked him out or anything, but he was standing there now by the window, so just kind of chilling. And I go, "Hey man," again, this is all on tape, or on video, I should say. We don't have tape anymore. I'm like, "Hey man, I saw what happened. That wasn't cool. Are you okay?" He's like, "Meh." He kind of does this. I'm like, "I hear there's a curfew." I go, who's going to enforce that?" And he's like, I was like, "Not you, huh?" He's like, "Clock on the wall says it's time for you to be off." I kind of laugh and joke. I'm like, okay. So I walk away. So the window's here. I walk a little further down to the side of the building. And on this other side of the building, there's a bunch of riot cops just lined up, just standing there, not doing anything. So I go up to them. I'm like, "Guys, like, we're not bad people. We're not trying to do this. People are just upset of what's been going on in the country and seeing what's happening. Nothing against you." Because again, as Republicans and Trump supporters and MAGA, like, it's not like we're anti-police at all. If anything, we back the blue, all this stuff. So I'm talking to a guy. I go, "You guys, like, everyone's hiding." I'm not hiding. I even said, "My name's Siaka Massaquoi. I'm an American. I'm not sitting here trying to hide for this. People are just upset." So then I turn and I walk around the other way to get some more video and see some more stuff. I saw this guy, Philip. We took a selfie. And then I'm walking around some more. And the two things that I saw that really stood out, why I knew some of the people there weren't really MAGA supporters or Republicans, was there were these two guys, separate occasions. One early on, he was grabbing men from behind and going, "Let's go," and trying to push them forward. Oh. And I was like, leaders don't do that. Real men don't do that. If you want someone to follow you, you go, "Follow me this way." And I saw it again with someone else doing it, and this big guy grabbed him, and the big, white dude was like, "Shut up," and threw him back, like, "Cut it out," like that. And I'm like, and so I noticed that because of Beverly Hills, when that Antifa group came, they literally came and looked like the orcs. They were coming in Helm's Deep for the two towers. Like, we were all light and they were coming in. It was dark. They were all dressed up in bike gear and like had like bats and everything. And I noticed there were like 3 or 4 kids that were Antifa weeks before giving us crap, now dressed up in MAGA gear. But it was all big, so it wasn't fitting them properly. And in Beverly Hills, when they had separated us, these guys were on the side screaming curse words at Antifa, which was getting our side worked up.
Oh, interesting.
So when I saw those 2 guys pushing people, I was like, that's Antifa.
You knew that right away.
Right away, because I saw them do it the other way, where they were trying to like, yeah, you piece of racist, piece of that. And I'm like, I'm looking at these, and one of the guys, I remember I called him coward because he tried to like get a black dude to fight somebody else for him, even though the guy was talking to him. He's like, oh, you said monkey? Hey, black dude, he said monkey, beat him. And I'm like, no, you're a coward. I saw the situation. He wasn't talking to Mike, he was talking to you. And so every time I saw him come after I'm like, hey, coward, what's up, buddy? Right? And so when I saw that behavior, I was like, this is something else. Anyway, I leave to go home, go back to the hotel. And as I'm leaving, I noticed the cars that were parked. And I kind of chuckle and I made a joke. And people walking around go, if this was Antifa riot, those cars would be burning right now. And everyone's like, I know, ha ha ha. We're laughing. Think nothing of it because we just saw the summer of love, right?
I want to tell you about Hallow, which is the #1 downloaded prayer app in the world. It's outstanding. Hallow.com/Matt Fradd. Sign up over there right now and you will get the first 3 months for free. That's like a lot of time. You can decide whether it's useful to you or not, whether it's helpful. If you don't like it, you can always quit. Hallow.com/Matt Fradd. I use it. My family uses it. It's fantastic. There are over 10,000 audio guided prayers, meditations, and music, including my lo-fi. Hallow has been downloaded over 15 million times in 150 different countries. It helps you pray, helps you meditate, helps you sleep better. It helps you build a daily routine and a habit of prayer. There's honestly so much excellent stuff on this app that it's difficult to get through it all. Just go check it out. Hallow.com/Matt Fradd. The link is in the description below. It even has an entire section for kids. So if you're a parent, you could play little Bible stories to them at night. It'll help them pray. Fantastic. Hallow.com/Matt Fradd.